Okay, so thank you, ladies, who showed up today for this Brave Kids book info session for our authors. We like to get together just to answer questions about the project. Brave Kids Volume 2 is what you're here to learn about, and we are all holding up Brave Kids 1 because we're very proud of Brave Kids, the first one. Kelly Kashula here is the lead author of this brand new project. Brave Healer Productions has a children's book imprint called Brave Kids Books. And Brave Kids Books just recently published its first children's short story collaboration, which was an Amazon bestseller and amazing. And we're all in love with it. And I'll let Kelly talk about that a little bit. But we are going to go ahead and talk to people who are interested in being in our Volume 2 project, which is publishing what month in 24, Kelly?
March 5th.
March 5th. Okay, it's tentative publication date. So we start the projects about 4 or 5 months ahead of when we're publishing. And as a group of authors, we get together, we do writing coaching, we do bestseller coaching, we do get-togethers. This is quite a project that goes beyond the beautiful product that we end up with, which is the book, because I have a really, really big mission in my company, a couple of missions actually. The biggest one is to wake the world up to what's possible. And doing that for kids seems like a really good thing to do, right? And we need to help their parents and their grandparents and their teachers and their mentors with beautiful stories that talk about the important things. And in this series, we want to help them be brave. And there's so many reasons kids need to be brave moving into their future. But the other big part of the mission of the company is to support the author and the business behind each author. Every single author that joins our projects is out there promoting the book, promoting themselves, and many of them are promoting a business, not all, but most. So we put in place a lot beyond the book project itself. So we kind of want to go through, what does it even mean to be involved? What's included? What's going on in that? And then then what after, right? There's a lot. And so if at any time you guys have any questions, please, you can either type them in the chat or you can raise your hand at us and we'll be happy to answer as we go. So we're hoping to include a roster of at least 24 co-authors in this book. So 24 short stories. Kelly, we already have how many?
We have about 13.
Yep. So we're just over half full for this project already, which is very exciting. And these are some of the authors who were in Brave Kids 1, so they're amazing. We can tell you a little bit more about the authors that are coming back. And the story itself is 1,500 words, in case you were wondering about word count. And we can share a little bit more of the details, figure out what details you guys need to know about the project. But let me go ahead and turn it over to Kelly and have her tell you a little bit about her vision for this and some of the details that she's thinking about. So go for it, Kelly.
Hi, everyone. I would like to introduce myself. I am Kelly Kashula, also known as KJ Kashula. I have published 2 of my own personal books called the Super Duper Secret Collection, which I'm carrying on for about 7 books. The first book was I Caught One of Santa's Reindeer, and the second book was I Captured the Easter Bunny's Chicken. And now we have my first collaboration book with wonderful authors in the Brave Kids Volume 1. And I'm excited that we are going to get Brave Kids 2 up and running. So excited that I've already started with the cover and I've written my story. And so if you would like to find out more about me, you can always go check out my website on www.kjkashula.com. So that is me in a nutshell. I also am Brave Kids publishing director. And so I really get my fingers deep into this project and I know all the nitty gritty stuff. And I'm absolutely in love with this project. So I'm your good captain right here.
You don't
Uh,
happen to have the mock-up of the illustration to pull up for these ladies, do you? For the second one?
I do, but I was hoping to save that to the end. What do you think?
Oh, sure, sure. That's fine. You can save it to the end. I think it would be a great thing to share. You know, the cover is Kelly's design, everything on the inside, and we'll be modeling the first book for the second book. So there are 3 spread illustrations on the inside, and then every chapter has an illustration that starts the page. Other than that, this is a black and white storybook. Okay, so there are 3 main illustrations and small illustrations at the chapters, which, believe me, Kelly will tell you was a lot of work. This is amazing creative work that she is involved in. Margie knows. And yeah.
Margie definitely knows.
Yes. So, do any of you here have any questions right off the bat that we can answer? Anything come to mind? And if not, I'm going to talk about a few of the benefits.
I've been through the process, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Margie, I think is Carrie a new author?
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Carrie is transitioning, I think, from car to computer, so we're letting her do her thing. Okay, so one important thing that I put in the chat for you, Margie, Carrie, if you want to grab it later, this is the application that you would fill out with to express interest in being in this project. We're asking you for a summary of your story idea, very basic information about you so that we can get to know who you are, what you might be writing about. And Kelly will be setting up a personal chat with you at that point. And that's the process of being in this book. Okay, you guys, is click on the application. We'll send this out with the replay as well if some of you are watching this replay. The application link will be in your email. Fill it out. The discussion with Kelly happens next. And then if you both decide this is an awesome fit, then we're going to move on. There's a fee to be in the project. And we have that set at, what is it, $7.97?
That's
and
correct.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about that investment, what exactly you're getting for that investment so that you understand what this is. But it doesn't cost anything to apply for the project. And so if you're interested, I highly suggest you give it a shot, talk to Kelly, see if it's a fit, all that good stuff. But you're going to get some great details on the application link. So publishing the collaborations is my business. We are moving Brave Words into the world in huge ways. We're an award-winning publisher about 5 times over now. And I aim to be an award-winning children's book publisher as well. We are going to be applying for an award, at least one, I believe this fall, right, Kelly, for Brave Kids? Yeah. So I can't wait to see what happens with that. This book is amazing, and volume 2 is going to be no less amazing. But like I said before, I'm here to support the author behind that chapter. And we have networking events every month. We have ways to get to know people. The networking events that I hold twice a month also offer opportunities for authors and business owners to speak. And you can step up to the open mic, if you will, on our Zooms and speak at those events. I have guest speakers coming in to teach really important topics about business growth and development. I am a business strategist as well. So I'm always offering things to our authors. I need to slow down to help them build their business and really create better relationships so that it's not just that you published this Amazon best-selling book, but now what? What's happening as a result of that book? Are you getting out there and supporting a charity like my mom has been doing with Brave Kids? Are you building your business and you'd like to pull people into your world in terms of the offers that you have or your services? Do you have other books, like Margie has a book, right? And do you want to bring people into that world to get your next book or whatever it is? We do a lot of things to promote and market these. We build a launch team with your author team and friends, family, and colleagues. Some of you are on the Brave Kids launch team, so you kind of know what that was all about. We interview you on the YouTube channel, and I love the author interviews. It's one of my favorite parts of a project. We coach the writing. We coach the bestseller launch. So if any of you are interested in moving forward to publish your own solo book in the future, I'm essentially going to coach you through every step of the process. You would pay thousands of dollars for that training. So that is a huge benefit that I'm gifting everybody in terms of understanding the steps to launch an Amazon best-selling book. Some of the other benefits, Kelly, what am I missing?
One of the greatest benefits that I offer as a lead author as well is we get together bi-weekly as a whole group, and we network and we chat and we connect about stories. We connect together as authors, which is really fun. One of our authors here today, Sue, has been joining us almost every week, so it's been great fun. We also do the professional proofreading, formatting, editing, and design. What else? Oh, we get author paperback copies. Can't remember if Laura mentioned that.
Let's slow down there. Let's slow down there on that one, because that's an important benefit you all, I want y'all to understand, is you're able to purchase your paperbacks at a very low cost and then sell them to your friends and family and make a buck. And we want this to be a win for you in terms of selling your paperback copies. So typically copies are about $5.50. That might go up a little bit because Amazon's about to increase their printing prices coming up here on June 20th. So we'll have to kind of see what that means as a company in terms of that. But the author copy price has always been very, very low. And I've been in at least 5 collaborations before I started this company. So I kind of knew what was missing. I also kind of knew that I know that nobody gives that low of a benefit for their paperback copies in terms of publishers. I'm not making but a couple of cents on that. And I really believe that it's more about getting the beautiful words out into the world in the biggest, best way we can. So I want it to be easy for you guys to sell your books. You can easily make up the cost of what the investment is to be in this project with book sales if you do that, and there's no limit to that benefit right now. So as a company, you could buy 50 books at that low cost today, and 6 months from now, a year from now, if you need more, you can buy more. And I haven't limited it yet, is what I want to say. Okay. And one other humongously generous thing that we're going to do is if you come into book 2, you can also purchase book 1 at cost. So you could actually sell these as a set if you want to. And we're giving you the ability to purchase either book at that low price and again, make some money. We want you guys to make some money on it, right? So I just wanted you to slow down on that one, Kelly. What else can you think of?
We have a great marketing and promotion and exposure strategy. We have been developing this amazing media kit for all our authors, and it's online and it's just exclusively for you, and it's really fun, and you get to share it and come back to it, and we update it sometimes depending on where we are in the publishing process.
So what does Kelly mean by media kit? This is a link where you can go as an author and you can get the book cover graphic, you can get the press release copy, you can get, and all of the graphics that we create for you and all the authors will be there. You can copy and paste the back cover copy that is on the actual book so that you can use it easily in your promotions. We have launch graphics that happen a little bit later in the project. We have included a paragraph of hashtags. We really want to make it easy for you. So we put everything in one place. So all you have to do is go there, get what you need so that you can go promote on your social or your emails or however else you guys are doing it. Do you have a question?
No,
Susan?
I just wanted to mention, as one of the authors, the media kit has been gold to me, because it gives me exactly what I need to set up a post on Facebook, or a post to a group of potential purchasers of the book, and I don't have to think about it. And I'm not good at that part. I am not good at creating, and that's what Kelly is just stellar at. And so she provides these materials, and it makes marketing so much easier. And the other benefit I can mention, as one of the collaborative authors on the first book, was when we all get together for our networking sessions that Kelly hosts. They are not only a lot of fun, but they are incredibly helpful and motivational. We have a safe space to talk about our writing and to get ideas from each other as to the writing that we're doing. We've been reading each other's stories as we wrote them and helping each other out. And that's been really, really fun, really effective too.
Yeah, we want to make the marketing and promotion easy for our authors, because we know most of our authors are not marketing professionals. Well, yeah.
Yeah, my book, the nutrition book, died
Yeah,
because of that.
That happens.
The authors refused to do any promotion, and it just disappeared.
So we prevent that, and in lots of ways, we make it worth your while to continue to share, but not only just worth your while, but exciting to share, and purpose behind your shares. And when you're in a collaboration, every time you share, you're helping the whole rest of your author cast also. So we wanted to have some networking and get to know each other stuff going on in our projects, because if I know you and what you're doing and what you're up to in the world a little bit better, I might share a post about Brave Kids about your story and say, hey, you guys, meet my fellow authors, Susan Ernst. Well, she's actually selling her books to help a charity that she's involved with, and this is what she's up to in the world, and I really love what she's doing and part of her mission. I am telling you, when you all do that for each other, it is the most amazing feeling, because who wants to sell themselves? Nobody, and so the only way that this happens like that is for you guys to get to know each other. And so we've built those networking sessions into our projects, all of our projects, for that exact reason. In fact, we're going to get together in person in New York next year for this reason also. We're going to do a book retreat and writing projects, so that I can get the human being flesh authors in my presence in New York together. We're going to coach the projects, and we're going to meet each other and get to know each other. So we do it the best we can on Zoom, right? Thank you, Zoom, right? What an amazing thing that has changed our whole world in the last few years. So did that bring up any questions for any of you? Anything you want to know about the project? We can tell you some dates here in a minute so you can understand the timing of this one. Any other questions?
I have a question concerning the content, the theme. I understand the Brave New Kids is volume 2 a continuation of that, or is there a direction, or how is it going? Where does it go?
Brave Kids, short stories to inspire our future world changers. My company is Brave Healer Productions. Most of the authors coming into my world are expert health and wellness practitioners. So a lot of who is in book 1 isn't your average author, to be honest. These are experts and medical professionals, holistic therapists, coaches, people who are writing stories for children because they have a passion to do that. But many of my authors have also been in our nonfiction medical books, right? Talking about how to do meditation and how to do yoga and how to do tapping and how to, oh my gosh, I could go on and on, right? We wanted to give the world tools. And this was a COVID-born project back in March of 2020. I am a retired holistic physical therapist. I spent 30 years in my first career learning about the healing journey. And so when I woke up that day in March of 20 and my physical therapy practice had shut down in a day because of COVID, I was like, holy moly, right? In a bit of a panic. And I woke up dreaming a dream about this collaboration. And so I wrote a little note to my friends. I said, healer friends, the world just lost all of its hands-on people. What are we going to do? Let's teach everybody self-treatment techniques. We all are all teachers anyway. This is what we do, you know, one-on-one with our clients all day long. So I put out the call. I said, who wants to write a chapter for the ultimate guide to self-healing? I knew we needed to empower people in their homes to be able to do what they needed to do. And 48 hours after I put that note in, 24 authors signed up, and 5 weeks later, we birthed that first book onto Amazon to a #1 bestseller. 5 weeks, you guys. Like what?
Unbelievable.
Like that doesn't happen. So I have been following the divine orders from the universe ever since that day. And here we are, 57 Amazon bestsellers later. Like that doesn't happen either in the normal world. And you all are part of that energy. So to continue to answer your question, when Brave Kids was born and Kelly was like, we need to help with kids. Like, how can we share kids stories? And I was like, Brave Kids, of course, right? Brave Kids books. We wanted the theme to be courage and bravery and brave. And volume 2 will be a collection of all of those kinds of authors choosing stories that mean something to them in terms of helping children feel and be brave. Well, that, oh my gosh, how many stories do we need? All of them. We need all of them. We need all the topics. We need all the easy, medium, and difficult topics you have. And we need ways for parents, teachers, mentors to be able to read these stories to their kids and really inspire them to be brave and feel brave. What does that mean? It'll mean something different to every kid and every parent. And so that's why this series lends itself to a volume 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, possibly, right? The Ultimate Guide to Self-Healing was very similar. We have 5 volumes of that book. That's because I know a lot of healers who do a whole lot of different things. How many tools do we need? All of them. Because not one story is going to resonate with every single reader, right? And not one tool is going to work. So in our other books, we're teaching practical tools. In this one, you're going to find beautiful things like breath work and chakra and energy, healing, intuition, lots of different beautiful topics that kids get to learn about. I wish I had learned about all those things when I was that age. So hopefully that answers your question, Margie.
It does. I'm kind of concerned in the fact that I don't have a lot of that holistic background at all. So how do I kind of move this story towards that?
Well, you have
without that kind of knowledge.
You have so much beautiful knowledge in your teaching and your experiences. And not everybody is a holistic healer in our world. You know,
I'm not.
Susan is not.
I'm not.
And Kelly is not, right? So you're coming at this story from your background, from what you think is important. Gosh, as a teacher alone, that's good enough. I mean, that, you know, you have spent decades helping in a particular way. What does it mean for you to help a kid be brave?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Margie, can I just interject something here? It's bringing up a memory of Margie and I in Cambodia together, and she's standing behind the puppet show theater that she basically designed and getting ready to put on a puppet show. And she's got her eyes welled up with tears looking out on the stage with 100 kids sitting out there, like just waiting to eat up anything she's about to eat. Come on, Margie.
I
Yeah.
do have that panic prior to things.
You
Well-
love kids. That's all you need, period.
And actually, I don't even
Yes,
think
sure.
you need to have kids to be good at this.
Yeah.
You just have to have the spirit of helping children, and also the spirit of helping the kids who are going to be the next generation of people who will change the world or they won't. Right? So you get to have that purpose of helping. And we were talking to Margie earlier about this, but Corinne wrote a beautiful last chapter in our book that happens to be a play. And Kelly is hoping that volume 2 has a play also. We keep that theme going. So I think that's beautiful. And we're very creative about what we're doing in the books. There's poetry in here. There's beautiful stories, of course. There's a play. We want you to feel into your own creativity and see what feels good for you. So what other questions do you have? Any?
Hi guys,
Hey.
it's nice to see all of you now that
Thank
I'm
you
in
for
my-
coming on the video.
this hybrid world. Sometimes I'm like, okay, if everything goes perfect, I can be back in my office. Bye. Didn't happen. So great to be here with all of you. I guess one of my questions, and I'm a clinician, so my background naturally kind of goes here, but I'm wondering about, and I have not read the first copy. I have it in my Amazon to order and just really look at, but is there anything as we're talking and telling these stories of bravery and courage to kids and to the caretakers, helpers of the world that are with kids, if they're the readers, right? And I'm imagining some kids are going to have the stories read to them and others are going to read them on their own. Is there some place for the reader to go if things come up after reading these stories, or like a
Yes.
resource?
You
Okay.
have a whole bio page.
Oh, great. So is that in like
And-
kind of the
Yeah.
each author has that?
Every author gets a full bio and their name on the front cover. So
Okay.
this is, I mean, that's really important to me. Many
Yeah.
collaborations won't do it.
Yeah.
And I think y'all need your name on the front cover. But Kelly created this really cute postcard.
Yeah.
And
Postcards of bravery.
yeah, and then you have a bio that goes underneath. You can put your website link. We want you to put your link so that
Okay.
people can come.
Sure.
Yeah, because this is
But
so
then you
much
can
more than a
say,
book.
like, you could say, like if you were, whatever, if you were a kiddo struggling with these kinds of bravery issues, here's a place you can go, or go find an adult or something that just at least I'm always conscious about, because part of and I know I got the chance to talk to Kelly a little bit, and Pam is who introduced me. So I think many of you know her as well, but just briefly, I am that kid. Right. And many of us probably are. And for me, it was pretty big stuff. It was, big T trauma stuff. And then multi-generational trauma from parents that grew up in that and the impact of that. And so a lot of when I write is about how do we tell those untalkable stories, those stories that were used to be so silent that we're now saying we can talk about, but how to do that. And so some of my ideas that Kelly and I spoke with, yes, that's Pam. That's how Pam and I connected. We were at the same conference. I was speaking on, I do leadership from that edge.
Oh.
So I
Amazing,
do
Carrie.
I do a lot of work with leaders around culture, environment, walking the walk. And I have a program that's called to Lead, and it's all through the basis of being trauma informed, that we all are dealing with something, whether it's big, little, we are all dealing with something. So as I think through that, those were some of my questions on how do we sandwich those resources in with that support. My other question is, like, how do you order those things where you have some stories that are a little heavier that we want to tell so that we break the silence, but we want to do that in, in a careful way? How do you guys, well, how do we do that as a collaborative, or is that more Kelly and Laura kind of looking at the positioning of things?
That's exactly what that is
Okay.
mostly Kelly did the first one and made sure that the order of the book was making sense.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't all mushed up with similar stuff or too heavy. We do definitely take
So it
into
kinda goes-
consideration.
That
Yeah.
seriously.
And this
Yeah.
is 6 to 12 and I'm sorry, 9 to 12 age range, right, Kelly?
It's 6 to 12, but we
6 to
split
12.
it
I got it
into
right.
we split it
Okay.
into two groups. The first group is the 6 to 9-year-olds, and the second group is the 9 to 12-year-olds. And so, I mean, if you look at the stories, most of the 6 to 9-year-olds are more in the beginning of the book, and most of the 9 to 12-year-olds are more at the end of the book. But sometimes they mush together.
Okay.
And what I really try and do is basically compose a giant story with all these little stories. And so I
Okay.
like crescendos and go down and up. And so I play with the ideas. And this is all basically based on that 300 words that you guys give us and your titles that you will send to us. And so I go from there.
Right.
And it's amazing how it all works out.
Yeah. A little bit of
see
divine
someone else.
intervention.
You see someone else calling in there.
They have come on, joined on their phone. We're good. I let them in. Yep.
And sorry, I just wanted to also add about your first question, Carrie, is at the end of the book where you can add your link, a lot of the authors, you can go to their link and they've actually started to create activities where kids can actually go to the story and go to the activity. We have several authors that have done that. I especially do that, and I put a big,
I
call to
saw
action
that.
at the
I thought that was fabulous.
yeah, and so you can download it. I mean, all you have to do is sign up to an email list, and it's great because it involves the picture. You get your picture that I illustrate, and you can use it in a way that you want to use it. Some authors have wanted to use it as a coloring, or they just put it on their website, and so you can have fun with it.
That's great. I love that.
Um,
Thank you.
Kelly, I wanted to interject something for Carrie here. This is so interesting, and Margie too. This book is another one of the collaborative books that Laura's company published, and
Yes.
Pamela Pine is the lead author,
Mhm.
and it's all about survivors of child abuse.
Yeah.
It's a very heavy book.
I think Carrie knows because she just spoke with Pam at the conference and was it Hawaii?
Got it.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
actually was
Yeah.
aware of the project and the work just
Yeah.
through my work and following the field a little bit. And
Yeah.
so, funny story, I was in between my session and the next, and I was at the resource table and I was looking at, I was like, oh, they have the book, I'm gonna buy it. And then someone said, do you know Pam's here? And I'm like, I think we're both from Maryland. So I would love to meet her. And she was signing. And then we just kind of, and then the next day she was actually the moderator for my session. So she heard my whole thing for 90 minutes. And then so we decided that we probably should collaborate. And then immediately she introduced me to Laura and Kelly. So it's been a whirlwind of a week because it was
And
all in the last week. But
Actually,
I'm just
Carrie,
grateful.
we've been waiting for someone to step up and write a story about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
thank
they're
I'm a little nervous, I'll be honest, just
Yeah.
because I was telling Pam, I literally got tearful. Pam said, I think you should meet this group of women that I work with and collaborate with. And would you be interested in, talking and learning more about possibly being a children's author? And I said, gosh, I got tearful. I said, that has been my childhood dream. And I just thought it was not yet, that it wasn't, I'm doing all of this writing in the social work world and the adult, learning world, trying to help these adults to figure out how to walk the walk. And then here comes this opportunity. So I'm a little nervous. I feel a little like the newbie for sure, but I am not one to give up at a challenge. So I may need to lean on those of you if you, accept me into the project.
Newbie maybe two.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you're
to, like,
welcome.
go-
I will
Well-
hold your hand every step of the way.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and talk about the editing process so that they all have an idea of what happens, right? So you're sending a synopsis. Kelly is understanding who you are and what you want to write about, and we get into our kickoff call on Zoom, and we're going to coach the process. And then when it's time to turn in the submission of your chapter, you're going to have been given all the instructions, but it's not done yet. We then take it and we move it through an editing process where Kelly is going to read the story and give you editing suggestions, both for the developmental edit of the story. We're going to proofread it about 1 million times. We're going to make sure that that story comes alive. And we're always working with very beginners all the way to seasoned pros.
Okay.
And I know there's things that people will learn at any stage that they're at with their writing, but children's stories are a little different, right? And so I've gotten the question, well, can it rhyme like that? Sure, it can rhyme. We don't mind, you know? Can I do this? Yes, you can do this. Like, we're not here to limit the way you express in the words. We had the play as our last chapter, and it's in play written form. It's brilliant. It's awesome. It's different. It's creative, right? So we want you all to just have some creative license about how you actually express it on the page. And we'll guide you through, and it'll be a really fun process where we come out with a final product that you are very proud to share. That is ultimate goal. Because if you get to the end and this is something that you're feeling weird about sharing, then how are we going to launch it to a bestseller if there's authors who aren't proud of like what they've done here? So we better make sure that you are all like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this, right? And we do a pretty good job of that, I think.
I have a question. You brought up something really, really important and interesting in talking to Carrie about the subject matter of child abuse. Initially, when we did volume 1, Kelly and I had a conversation because my experience, and Carrie, I'm just a grandma that loves kids. I have no, formal background, and I'm learning how to, so it's like, I'm a newbie too, like, get over it. I'm awake. But the conversation that I had with Kelly had to do with the experience that Margie and I both experienced in Cambodia. And that was serving 100 kids every day who had been trafficked or were at risk of being sex trafficked. And the subject matter's heavy, and we went through a big learning process of, all about that experience. And I wanted to write something a little bit stronger. I wanted to perhaps tell a story about a child who maybe almost was, that bring up that subject matter.
Being groomed, probably.
And to be groomed, exactly, or to be sold by their mother, or all the things that we saw that were happening.
Yeah.
We put a lid on that, and we kept the story my story is very soft. It doesn't go anywhere near that topic.
Mhm.
Do we want to even consider, and I'm saying this now because if Margie joins the team, I have a perfect partner to kind of work with in this, to develop a more serious story.
So at that point, Kelly's going to have to do the same thing she did with volume 1. She's going to have to read everybody's synopsis. She's going to have to balance the book appropriately. She's going to have to talk to each one of you about what this story is and what the theme is and how you're going to play it out. And Kelly is the lead author. She is the main name on this book. It is up to her. And what I want to do is I want to educate and help with the grooming aspect. That's a bit of a personal mission of mine with what I've been through with my daughter in the last 3 years. So I'm interested in, how do we do this? I am interested. How, and maybe you all will be the ones to help us do it in a really great way that we are proud of, and that I don't know about too heavy, too light. Honestly, in my nonfiction healer world, there is no TMI. These kids know stuff at ages that would
way earlier
blow
than
us
we did.
away. Yes. So like, what are we doing by hiding heavy material? Well, we also don't want our book to be a big fat downer. Like we want high vibes here in this book, in all the stories. We want this book to help the parents and grandparents and teachers who are reading. So, you know, Margie teaches, you guys teach, you can help us with this.
Yeah.
How do
Well,
we do
it's a very difficult thing. I mean, we're just opening worlds that were not open before,
Yeah.
because my mother was a concentration camp victim.
Mm.
She was a Polish freedom fighter. She had PTSD. We did not talk about PTSD,
Right.
but we were the recipients of having a mother with PTSD. And there are things that it would have been wonderful at some point for her to have help, or us to have help to cope with the ups and the downs and the physical parts of PTSD and her trauma. We never had any coping. I will tell you, my coping was going out into nature and sitting there quietly and trying to get over all the yelling sometimes and the screaming and whatever went on. So I can understand that a book like this is a new age for people to understand what goes on. And we saw and understood PTSD in Cambodia too. Children that were
Everyone in Cambodia suffers with PTSD.
And
Yes,
then you
and
experienced
so it's a
vicarious
big
trauma
deal.
for seeing it.
Vicarious
It's a
trauma.
big deal.
So I'm going to wrap this back. We only have a few more minutes, you guys, in this hour that we want to make sure to answer all your questions. And I'm going to wrap it back around to, there might be some of you who would rather write for adults and not have any limits. And you should come talk to me about what book we're doing in terms of that, okay, later. But if your passion is to write the children's story, then we'll figure this out. We'll figure it out in the most beautiful way that you can do it. But it might be an answer that you come into our holistic mental health book, or you come into our book that's going to deal with, it's called The Caregiver's Advocate. Or you come into, we're doing some really big topics. The grief experience is coming up. And so we are going to continue to hit on really important topics. And you all might decide, oh, you know, I kind of want to write for the adults. And I really want to write my story out, and I don't want to have to hold back because I'm worried about the kids gonna hear the wrong thing. Like, then you need to come into one of the adult books, okay? But this
I think there's so
hard,
many
right?
ways to make it for kids, because if we
Yes.
can't talk about it for them, then how are they going to talk about it?
Exactly, that's how I feel too.
That was what I wanted
Yeah.
to say, and I didn't get to finish the point, was Pamela, who wrote this serious book, also wrote a short story in Brave Kids 1 about a family of squirrels. And this little squirrel that was kind of different from all the rest. So the point is, you know, we're talking, as you just said, Lori, 2 books, a serious book or a book that
I
can
read
be read
that.
to small children.
Yeah.
And so we got to pick our reader and go for it one way or another.
Do any of you have any lingering questions about the project? Y'all have the link in the chat there. You can click and save it for later. Kelly's here for
Timeline.
questions. Yeah, timeline, thank you.
Timeline, yes.
We're going to kick off on November 9th. It's a 2-hour Zoom call. Your chapters will be due in the very beginning of December, so we'll get it done before the holidays roll around. And then we have launch information that happens late January, and then we'll be launching in March. That is a very kind of brief summary of like the timeline of, we're just going to start to get together in November. The book is going to publish in March. Okay, and there'll be a couple of mandatory calls. If you can't make a call, we ask that you watch the replay, that you protect the time, watch the replay and let us know, you know, that you watched it. But we have a kickoff Zoom with the writing coaching. We have a writing support call. We have a launch information call, and then we have a party. So at the end of the project, we do an online Zoom party, book launch party for everybody that can come, all the authors and anybody they want to invite. to talk about the book and have fun at the end when we're celebrating, right? So does that help you a little bit with the timeline, you guys?
Can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Yeah, of course.
With the the writing sessions where we work together, or the collaborative sessions where we're getting, you know, support among the group, does that start after November 9th or before?
Well, you know, we're over half full for the project. As soon as we are full, y'all are going to get some emails because
Okay.
we want to get you together.
Get going. Okay.
So
So there'll be, I just, with that answer, that's a better way to say, like, I'm like,
Yeah,
is it now and then nothing until November, or like?
it depends. And sometimes, so please, if you all know people who you think would be an absolute perfect fit for this, reach out now. And the faster we have the full roster, the faster we can get you all together and make magic. And we will do some Zoom happy hours, some icebreaker, you know, sessions, get to know each other. We're going to get you into some of the groups that I run so that you can come to some of the events, meet. I have over 600 authors in this community now, and they all want to meet you. So, right. So this is a very warm and welcoming and amazing group of people to network with what you all do out in the world. So yeah, we want to get you going as fast as possible. And if you know, Carrie, if you would like some of the resources of those free places where you could just come and mingle in the meantime, email me and I will send you some Facebook groups and things to do. You'll see Pam in there. And
she told me about a couple. I'm like, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. We have a June, first Monday of every month is
that like the badass girls or something?
It's
like
the
that?
Brave Badass Healers. Yeah, that's the
it.
Breakthroughs event. So Monday morning breakthroughs is June, whatever the first Monday is. That the 5th? Oh my God, June is like this week, right?
It's literally next week.
Yeah.
Like Saturday, Friday.
It's tomorrow.
No, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Holy
1st of June is tomorrow.
Moving along.
oh gosh.
So Monday, we're going to have a really interesting guest. He's been a publicist for 22 years. He happens to live in Hungary. And he's going to come talk to us about, are you ready for the publicity you want? So it's going to be a really good topic on Monday. So yeah, you'll see all those invites and different things in the group, and I can email you the link and get you in there.
I have one more question. Sorry.
Yeah, shoot. No, please.
You ever, so say you've got, you know, you've got 20 authors and you really want 24 and it's not happening. At that time, do you ever say, we're going to move forward? Or do you say, hey, do you want to do 2 chapters and an author has an opportunity to do 2 stories? Or what does that look like?
We'll do a book with 20 minimum.
Okay.
And we want more than that. Typically 25 is like this sweet spot. We've just done it enough times now to know what the sweet spot is.
Got it.
If we had a couple more and we wanted to squeeze them in there, we might, but 25 is like a really cool number. Below 20 starts to change the size and feel of the book. And again, there's this sweet spot now that I've done 50 plus of them. I kind of like to keep it consistent. Yeah. So we will move, this book is going to fill and we will move forward and it'll be 20 to 24 easily.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, you're muted.
Do you set a deadline as far as the authors, if you know there's a few out there that are, I think I'm interested kind of thing, do you have a drop dead deadline that you give them so you can get them in there and get it moving?
Well, when we're kicking off in November, we kind of need everybody to be on board at least a month in advance. We would love that. If we have
Our
a couple
deadline,
of
the
stragglers.
1st of October.
Yeah. If we have stragglers, we'll let them in if we need to, if they're willing to get up to speed quickly. But yeah, October would be awesome. The sooner the better, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like Carrie's ready to go now. I am too.
I don't know that my schedule's ready to go now, but
I
I
know.
just like to get all the information so that I'm like, okay, where's this all plopping in? And I also know myself. I'm a fairly self-aware person and I spin on these things a little. So I need to stop.
Well, the other thing we'll do for you is, and as soon as you decide you want to be in and we're moving you forward, then we're going to send you the entire date schedule with times of all calls because we want you to calendar that as soon as possible. So the 13 people who are already in this book already have that. So like they already know like everything that's coming. So of course we want to get that to you as soon as possible. We know you're busy. We know you're squeezing in between things. So we'll get that to you.
And you'll also get a promotional graphic announcing you in the project.
I love it. This has been really helpful. Thanks for taking the time to walk us through this and to really just be so thorough. I feel like you answered
Very
most of my
thorough.
questions like right off the gate. And then, yeah, it just kind of made me think of a couple of others, which I always appreciate. So thank you for that.
Good, you're welcome. Our pleasure. If you have any more that pop up, you can reach me or Kelly. My email, I'm about to put it in the chat for you guys. It's bewarriorlove@gmail.com. You can also text me a heads up anytime you want to just have a quick chat, you got a quick question. So please take my contact information down and keep it for any questions. You have Kelly's email from her communications. And for our replay watchers today, if you're watching this replay, please just reach out with any questions. And remember, you can apply for the project. You can talk to Kelly. You can kind of move through the stages if you're interested. We would love to answer your questions as well. And we had such an amazing, wonderful time putting this first one into the world. Oh, are you going to share the cover as our last thing today, Kelly? The new cover?
I'll share
Okay.
the cover.
So, cover number 1, you guys have seen, right? With our characters and our mountain scene, right? So I'm going to let Kelly share her.
Okay, it's not finished. It is a rough, but it is moving forward fairly quickly. So here you go. You get a sneak peek. So we're gonna have we'll have a whale jumping out of the water. We have our 3 main characters returning. They are all piratey. We kind of have a mermaid and octopus arm. We have our lion to symbolize bravery. And so there we go.
It's
Brilliant.
so gorgeous.
Just brilliant, Kelly. Just awesome.
That
I love the
jumping
mermaid.
whale.
That is
Yeah,
so
I know.
amazing.
The mermaid, the whale. And this is what Kelly does, you guys, is she hides all these little things inside of her illustration. So you'll be staring at them for a very long time.
Yeah,
It's
I do
gorgeous.
hide things indeed. Actually, before we go, one of the greatest things about this is our 3 spread illustrations. And so in each illustration, there are items hidden in them that symbolize different stories. For example, we have one story over there. We have my story, which is the cheetah over there. We have the monkeys over there. That's Sue's story from the first book. And so they're all hidden within the 3 illustrations. And you go as a kid and you actually go find them as activities.
Little Bizarro, right? We're all the eye and the
Oh, trust me, kids will then stare at the page be like, I read that chapter, and then they remember it, and then they go find the next one. Let's read the next chapter. Let's find the picture.
fantastic.
It's like
brilliant.
Find Waldo, but
Yes.
I love it.
Even better, I think, than Waldo.
Yeah, even better because you have all the story. That's great. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
All right, thank
You're
you
welcome.
all for coming. I'll go ahead and end the recording now, and if any of you need to stay and ask more questions, you're welcome to. But thank you guys for being here.